You are not angry by nature. You are constantly provoked by people, by noise, by pressure. We live in a world designed to steal your focus, to trigger your emotions, to keep you in a state of constant reaction. It's a relentless assault on your peace. You see it everywhere: the tense faces in traffic, the heated arguments online, the endless stream of notifications demanding your immediate attention. It feels like chaos, a storm you can't escape. But the chaos isn't the real enemy. The true problem isn't the difficult people you encounter or the frustrating situations you face. The problem is how much control you give them. Every time you react, every time you let anger or frustration take over, you are handing your power away. You are allowing external events to dictate your internal state. Think about it. The argument replays in your mind. The sting of an insult lingers. The feeling of regret for lashing out follows you. These moments loop, not because they are powerful, but because you give them the power to persist. You've taught yourself that reacting is the only option, but it's a lie. You are not a puppet, and your emotions are not strings for others to pull. The cycle of provocation and reaction is a trap, one that keeps you drained, distracted, and far from the person you want to be. Breaking this cycle begins with understanding where the real battle lies, not out there in the world, but inside your own mind. Most people spend their lives caught in a web of human error. They are desperate to win, to be right, to be understood, to be respected. They move in circles, engaging in the same fruitless arguments, trying to explain themselves to people who have no intention of listening. They fight to prove their worth, believing that validation from others is the key to their own self-esteem. But this is a fundamental mistake. The moment you feel the need to win an argument, you have already lost something far more valuable: your peace. The desire to be right is a vanity. It's an ego-driven impulse that chains you to the opinions and reactions of others. You believe that if you can just make them see, just make them agree, then you will feel victorious. But what is this victory? A fleeting moment of satisfaction followed by the lingering tension of conflict. You are trading your inner tranquility for a point that ultimately means nothing. This relentless pursuit of external validation is exhausting. It turns conversations into competitions and relationships into battlegrounds. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to live a good life. And a good life is not measured by how many people you have proven wrong, but by how much inner peace you have cultivated. The need to win is a sign of insecurity. The ability to walk away, to let it go, is a sign of strength. The world will constantly present you with opportunities to prove yourself. The wise person understands that the greatest proof of strength is to feel no need to prove anything at all. Stoics understood one simple, profound truth. Nothing offends you unless you allow it. No word has the power to hurt you. No opinion can diminish you. No provocation can disturb your peace unless you give it permission. The offense is not in the event itself, but in your judgment of the event. It is your interpretation, your internal story, that creates the suffering. Someone calls you a name. The word itself is just a sound. It is your mind that attaches a meaning to it, that decides it is an insult, that chooses to feel wounded. A project fails. The failure itself is a neutral outcome. It is your mind that labels it a disaster, that connects it to your self-worth, that decides to feel shame or despair. This is the core of Stoic thought, the separation between what happens and how we respond to what happens. In that space between stimulus and response lies our greatest power. It is the freedom to choose. You can choose to see a critique not as an attack, but as information. You can choose to see a setback not as a catastrophe, but as a lesson. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't feel. It is about observing your initial emotional impulse and then consciously deciding not to be carried away by it. It is about reclaiming your mind from the automatic reactive patterns that cause so much unnecessary pain. Nothing can touch you. This isn't a metaphor, it is a principle for living. The fortress you must build is not of stone, but of perspective. When you truly internalize this, you become untouchable. Let's bring this into the real world. Calm is not weakness. Calm is control. Discipline is choosing silence when chaos demands a reaction. Imagine you're at work. A colleague publicly criticizes your idea in a meeting. The immediate impulse is to get defensive, to fight back, to protect your ego. Your heart rate quickens. Your face gets hot. This is the moment of choice. The reactive person argues, creating tension and burning bridges. The disciplined person, the stoic, simply pauses. They breathe. They listen. They might say, "Thank you for the feedback. I'll consider that." And then they move on. They don't give the moment the power to ruin their day or consider family conflict. A relative says something passive-aggressive at a gathering. The air grows thick with unspoken history. The temptation is to bite back, to escalate, to rehash old wounds. But what does that accomplish? The Stoic recognizes this as a test. They offer a simple, non-confrontational response, or they choose to change the subject. They refuse to pour fuel on the fire. They protect their own peace first. On social media, you see a comment designed to provoke you. It's bait. Most people take it. They dive into a pointless, draining argument with a stranger. The Stoic sees the bait for what it is and scrolls past. They understand that winning an online argument is like drinking salt water to quench your thirst. It only makes you thirstier. In every one of these situations, the calm response is the powerful one. It demonstrates mastery over your own mind. It is the ultimate display of strength. Most people react their entire lives. From the smallest annoyance to the greatest tragedy, they are bounced around by external events, their moods and actions dictated by forces outside their control. They are leaves in the wind, carried wherever the gusts of fortune blow them. Their life is a series of unplanned emotional reflexes. They get angry when provoked, sad when disappointed, and anxious when faced with uncertainty. They believe this is just how life is, a chaotic and unpredictable journey where they are merely passengers. But a small few learn to live differently. They don't react, they respond, and that single difference changes everything. To react is to be a slave to the moment. To respond is to be the master of it. A response is considered. It is intentional. It comes from a place of clarity and purpose, not from a jolt of raw emotion. The Stoic understands that while they cannot control the world around them, they have absolute control over their response to it. This is their kingdom. When faced with adversity, they do not crumble. They assess. They adapt. They act from a place of reason and virtue. And when faced with insults or negativity, they do not engage. They simply walk away untouched. Their inner peace is a fortress that no external chaos can breach. They have drawn a line in the sand, and on their side of that line, they are sovereign. This is not a superpower. It is a skill forged through practice, discipline, and a deep understanding of what truly matters. They have chosen to be the sculptor of their life, not the clay. Control yourself. Everything else follows.